Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the We're Not Stumped podcast. I'm your host, Mike Bolland, and welcome to Headlines. Headlines for the week of September 30th. Today is October 3rd. Already? Kind of crazy. Soon there's going to be the Christmas decorations out. Maybe it'll actually cool down in Arizona. I don't know. It's today is October 2nd when I'm recording this. I think it's going to be 111 out. Tell you, it'd burn your hand off if I had two of them. I don't know. Who knows what I'm talking about. So a couple things I want to talk about first, some house cleaning items, as they say. Last week I talked about my upcoming podcast episode, and that was with Danielle Robbins. Okay, so now today I get to tell you that that's been recorded and it's live, and you have to listen to that podcast. It was very interesting what she's doing. She's not only a prosthetist for humans, but she also does it for animals, and the things she's able to do, some of the videos that she was able to share with me that are on the podcast, if you happen to watch it on YouTube, are just amazing. These are dogs that basically were paralyzed. There's this one dog that was paralyzed from the waist down, had to wear a diaper, put some wheels on it. That thing's running all over the place. Congratulations, Danielle Robbins. And please, if you get an opportunity, first of all, if your pet needs any orthotics, prosthetics, anything like that, go to orthopaws.vet. Talk to Danielle, she'll hook you up. And please take a listen to that podcast. Watch it. It's really a good podcast. I can't thank Danielle enough for being on. Okay, one other thing. I'm only going to do 2 headlines this week. Last week I did one, and the podcast was about 25 minutes. So I'm noticing that my goal of doing quick podcasts every Thursday to kind of talk about some of the things going on in the limb loss community, it's starting to get a little long for me, because that's not what I want. I want to be able to talk about a few things here or there, keep it concise, pass on the information, and then the links if you want to learn more. So I'm only going to do 2 this week. So headline number 1 is something that's very personal to me. One of the past guests of the We're Not Stumped podcast, matter of fact, season 5, episode 1, that was Rachel Sumukanda. Her and Dan Moses were on that episode, and she has invited me to something going on in northern Arizona this weekend on October 5th. And I'm very excited about it. So this is headline number 1. It is called the Northern Arizona Disability Resource Fair. And it's going to be from 10 to 2 in Flagstaff, Arizona. It's at the High Country Conference Center, 201 West Butler Avenue in Flagstaff, Arizona. It's going to be a lot cooler there. Even though it's warm for them, it's going to be cooler for me going there. So here's a little bit about what's going on. They have a lot of exhibitors there, a lot of people to network with. I'm very excited to go there. I'm going to bring my equipment and I'm hoping to get some people to share what they do for the community. And this is for the adaptive community as a whole. And that's why I'm very excited about it. There's a lot of people that are doing a lot of great things in just the state of Arizona. I'm sure there's a lot more going on all over the country. And to that end, here's the deal. I'm going to be talking about 2 things, 2 different events, one in Arizona this weekend, one that happened in New York about, a week ago. So what I need you to do, if you are someone who puts on any kind of support group, anything, or you represent an organization that helps either the limb loss or the disabled community or the adaptive community, let me know. I've always said, hey, you can be on the podcast. There's an open invitation. You can be on the podcast, but some people don't want to be on podcasts, and I get it. Maybe they don't have the time. That's fair, and that's fine. Send me the information. I'll talk about it. I will promote whatever you have going on, so please send me this information, and that's exactly what I'm going to be doing when I talk about the Northern Arizona Disability Resource Fair. So here's what's going on with it, and I'm going to then talk about some of the people that are going to be there. I'm not going to talk about all of them because it would take too long, and that would ruin my goal of kind of shortening up these podcasts. But let me talk about a few of them, and here is the description. Learn about and connect with Northern Arizona's diverse disability community. Join individuals with disabilities of all ages, their families, and caregivers, and get to know local service providers and disability organizations. A couple bullet points, or actually 4 bullet points. Over 30 exhibitors representing a wide range of local disability resources. This is free admission, free parking, and there's going to be refreshments and entertainment and door prizes. As long as I don't have to juggle with one hand, I don't have to be the entertainment. So we're good about that. I'm looking forward to this, and I'm honored to be an invited guest. So let me talk about some of the exhibitors that are going to be there. There's one called Care for the Caregivers, and this was one that I had read about somewhere else, and I really can't remember where I read about them, but they're doing great things. And when we talk about whether it be the limb loss community or the adaptive disabled community as a whole, the people that get forgotten a lot of the times are the caregivers, and to say they fill an important role, that doesn't even do it justice. So I'm very excited to meet this organization, introduce myself to this organization. Here's a brief description. Care for Caregivers offers informational space, an empowering environment, and programs and services that help families thrive. Their website is thecaregivers.org. They will be there. I'm very excited to introduce myself to them. Another one, the Commission on Inclusion and Adaptive Living. This is a City of Flagstaff commission focused on serving the local disabled community. And this is where Rachel, that was on season 5, episode 1, she's actually a member and I think the lead of this. So this is where Rachel was able to invite me, and I'm very excited about it. Here's a description. Consisting of 7 citizens, the commission's goals are to expand educational opportunities, improve access to housing, buildings, and transportation, encourage employment, expand rehabilitation capacity, and ensure greater participation in recreational, social, and cultural activities. This URL is a little too long for me to kind of spit out here, but go to flagstaff.az.gov and type in Commission on Inclusion in Adaptive Living, and I'm sure you can find out more information on them. Very excited to introduce myself to them. Another great organization that's going to be there, High Country Adaptive Sports. They enrich the lives through adaptive recreation. So here's a brief description of them. With the belief that everyone can benefit from outdoor recreation, High Country Adaptive Sports guides all athletes, regardless of physical or cognitive challenges, in hiking, kayaking, rock climbing, mountain biking, and snow sports. Their URL is highcountryadaptive.org. Next on the list, and there's 30 here, I'm just doing some highlights here. New Horizons Disability Empowerment Center, empowering people with disabilities to participate as equals. So this independent center in Prescott Valley, Arizona offers a variety of program services as well as transportation for individuals with disabilities in rural counties of Mojave, Yavapai, Coconino, Navajo, and Apache counties. Very excited to meet them. Their website is nhdec.org if you'd like to learn a little bit more about them. Next on the list is Quality Connections. Empowering people is good for the community. That's their tagline. A little bit about Quality Connections. Quality Connections, a nonprofit organization based in Flagstaff, Arizona, is devoted to helping individuals with disabilities become independent, productive members of our community by providing them with employment opportunities, job training, and practical life learning programs. Very excited about that. To me, that's some of the things we're talking about is very near and dear to my heart. I'm sure everything at this whole event is going to be very near and dear to my heart. But when it comes to providing them with employment opportunities and job training, I think that's a fantastic mission. So their website is qualityconnections.org if you want to learn a little bit more about them. And I'm going to round it out with the last one that I want to meet all 30 people. I'm not going to lie to you. But the last one I want to highlight here today is Raising Special Kids. Help and Hope for Families is their tagline. Focus on improving the lives of children from 0 to 26 years of age with the full range of disabilities by providing support services so families can become effective advocates for their children. Their website is raisingspecialkids.org. And again, that's this weekend from 10 to 2 in Flagstaff, Arizona. And it is at the High Country Conference Center, 201 West Butler Avenue, Flagstaff, Arizona. And free admission, free parking, refreshments, entertainment that will not be me juggling. But Rachel, thank you so much for inviting me to go up there. I'm very excited about being there, and I'm going to do my best to tell some of the stories of the people that I'm able to meet. and I'll do that probably next week. If not, I might be able to do a series of little podcasts with everyone that I'm able to meet. Very excited. We'll see how that all plays out, but can't wait to get up there and get out of these 110-degree heat, to be honest with you. So there's that. And then headline number 2, kind of the same thing. This one comes from the Nassau Observer, that's in New York, and it's courtesy of Lauren Feldman. The URL is antonmediagroup.com. That's where I'm finding this particular one. And the headline is Amputee Support Group hosts picnic at Bethpage State Park. So the second annual picnic in the park and amputee support event occurred on Wednesday, September 25th at Bethpage Park Bluebird Pavilion. Amputees and their families enjoyed an afternoon of fun, food, games, and music, while amputees shared information, learned about treatment options, and discussed challenges and successes, and raised spirits. Awesome. Love to hear that. Lynbrook Restorative Therapy and Nursing excel at Woodbury for rehabilitation and nursing, and Momentum at South Bay for rehabilitation and nursing co-hosted this event. The support group's 3 facilities host monthly hybrid meetings, which means, of course, in person or Zoom, with individuals recovering from limb loss. The program's multidisciplinary team of specialists work with each patient to develop a personalized program aimed at restoring their confidence, which is very important, and providing the skills necessary to live an independent life post-amputation. Rarely have those affected by limb loss had the opportunity to gather in this way, though. And I'll say this, I'm going to cut it off right there. They're exactly right. I know these are going on, though, across the country. There's Lively Limbs in Mesa, Arizona, with Lise Lindsay. I've talked about it on this podcast before. Fantastic. Another former guest of the podcast, Kayla Inman, does it in Colorado. So these events are happening, not as much as they possibly should, but it goes to the point what I talked about when we first started this particular podcast. If you have something going on, even if it's a repetitive, once a month we do this, like John Warner does this, another former guest. He started his own amputee support group. Let me know. I will talk about it. I will promote it the best I can on this podcast. And I'll say this too. I do all my own websites. My old career still kind of gets in the way, I guess, to a certain extent. So here's what I'd like to do. I'm going to add a segment or a area of the website, maybe an events page, where if you have an event that's coming up, let me know and I'll add it to the website so people know that it's coming up. So that way we can promote it. We can promote it for people that need the help, but promote it in actual talking or YouTube on the podcast, plus have a place where it can live on the website. So send it in to me. I'll do my best. But now let me get back to the article. For individuals living with limb loss, there are a few resources on Long Island where they can find support. And this was Scott Apgar, the director of amputee and diabetic management programs at Excel, said. Our amputee support group is open to all amputees across Nassau and Suffolk counties. We encourage people to come together to discuss any challenges they are experiencing or any questions they may have. By creating a community, these like-minded individuals are able to receive support from individuals who have similar life experiences that they are not able to find within the general population. As a therapist and coordinator of the amputee support group, Brian Kortz, who directs the amputee and diabetic management program at Lynbrook, said one of his proudest achievements is facilitating connections between people with common experiences. When an amputee can connect with a peer who understands their unique challenges, it's invaluable. It actually goes to full circle of Season 5, Episode 1 with Rachel and Dan Moses. Dan was Rachel's mentor when she had her leg amputated. And what she says on that podcast, it was invaluable, just like this gentleman says. So it's extremely important that those things are happening, and when they are happening, or if there is the ability for someone with limb loss to find out where they can find these resources, let me know. If you have something going on, let me know. I will say it on this podcast, and I will create a new section where those things are happening. So people go to the We're Not Some podcast website can not only listen to all the past episodes and find stories that really resonate with them. I have it. Everything's divided by upper, lower. Prosthetists are on there, whether it be from birth, congenital, accidents, medical. There's a whole different range of stories on there. I'll just add another section that says calendar of events. And I want everyone, I have to rely on the listeners. I'll do my best to find out what's going on out there. But I want you to help me promote your event, because it's extremely important, as you can see from not only what's going on at the Nassau Observer with the Amputee Support Group at Bethpage State Park, but also between Dan and Rachel and other stories that are happening. So that is it for this episode of the We're Not Stumped podcast. Headlines for October 3rd. Forget the date already. Headlines for October 3rd. I kept it a little bit shorter and sweeter, a little bit more towards my goal. Whatever you do, wherever you're at, whatever's going on in your life, whatever challenges you may be having, do me a favor. At this point, right now, if you made it to this point of the podcast, here's what I expect you to do. Smile, laugh, and of course, have a great week.